I had an email come up about time and my ideas and concepts of what time is and what life would be like without time. And here's what I understand about it. In studying the quantum world, and I am far from a scientist, I won't know the terminology to be able to speak about it. There's experts that are professionals in that field. I just used science to try and understand what it is I wanted to understand, which are basically problem solving. How do you solve problems? How do you attract um, the experiences you want in your life, basically, because there's been a lot of abuse in my past. So, and there's a heritage of it. There's a cycle of family abuse. So, kind of interested to understand how we stop these cycles, and led me to study, Mayan calendar is all about consciousness. So if you want to understand, the awareness of a solution to a problem, you have to understand that it's being consciously aware of what the hell you're doing. So any information out there that you want to study about conscious awareness, you're going to run into the Mayan calendar, because that's what that whole cycle about is, um, a measurement or cycles that this human experience has recognized enough to know the patterns, to see that there's a cycle to these patterns. And this cycle of being aware of what we are, what we do, how much power we have, the part of the brain that we don't use, having the answers to everything basically is going to develop a cycle of an awareness of it. And when the cycle ends, it says that it's going to be the end of time. Now, in order for us to recognize a cycle or a pattern, it sort of means like we're going to be lemmings running into, a wall over and over and over again, or walking over a cliff and dying, and coming back to life and doing it all over again, and you do, this diving off the cliff and dying enough times that you start to recognize a pattern of, let's choose a different path, a different road, a different path. So that tells me that this cycle that we're in is not going to be so much something that we know we're going to evolve. We're going to pass this test, because we've been here before, and everything we knew in our past was completely wrong. A lot of it's right, but a lot of it's wrong, and we didn't catch ourselves in time. Because we're still repeating the same cycles over and over again. When they say it's going to be the end of time, why are we experiencing time if what they could see in the world would end time, yet we're still experiencing time? That means that in our past, they didn't get it yet. So a lot of information, you can go through channeling, which is time traveling. Some entity or spirit or knowledge from our past, you can look at um, pyramids and see drawings of what's out there. A lot of people are going to say there's spaceships out there and there's this technology out there because they've driven, you know drew it on a wall. Well, if I wanted to draw on a wall what I see today in our time, which are a lot of people are seeing spaceships. If you're going to want to put something out there for the next cycle, because you're going to be wiped out, but some people will survive, but you want to leave carry on a message to the next generation, well, you're going to draw a picture, because the language is going to change. So you're going to try and make a picture, a puzzle of some kind, where somebody might try and understand what it is you see in your world. So when you see things from our past, it doesn't mean that it's true. It means that it was true for their past in their time. We're repeating the same cycles, so we're going to see the same things, but it doesn't mean that we know the answers to what's going on yet. It means we have the potential. It means that we are more advanced than those before us, but only if we keep advancing forward and not constantly looking for the past and thinking the past is going to give us some answers. The past can give us some answers, but you got to know when it's an answer and when it's a bad direction. And time, the understanding of time, comes from, you look at the universal world, and if you traveled out there in the universe, in the galaxies, time to get anywhere will be a lot slower than time in the quantum world. Things happen sort of like instantly in the quantum world, and it seems to slow down the more like the quantum world wants to travel towards the universal world. That time and how fast time goes is, you can sort of see that pattern from the quantum world to the universal world. It's faster and smaller, and the distance to go from one to another is where time is experienced. So in the quantum world, they found at the smallest level of what they can see right now, it's all hollow, it's all empty. It's exactly the same thing as if you see two planets. They're miles and miles apart from each other, just like, every cell doesn't actually touch. They're miles and miles apart from each other in comparison to the size of a planet to another planet, to the size of the cell that you're observing. Um, but what they have found inside each, cell, or the smallest thing that we can look at, is they're spinning pieces of information. It's sort of like string theory. Um, that gets into DNA, but basically our experiences are creating information, transforming information, all the time that you're experiencing life. That's what time is. Every time you have an experience, you have to create a chemical for you to experience that experience. So the chemicals that you make up who you are, and those are your experiences that you have and you put out into the world that people experience within time. Bruce Lipton is a scientist that's, his discoveries are going to be changing our biology. He was into stem cell research and started noticing, and science is proving, that we as humans can control our DNA by what we think about, and the chemicals that you make to experience those thoughts are, in fact, the steps of how you make DNA. So right now we're on cruise control, and in the quantum world, in the, the information that we hold within our DNA is like on cruise control, but it definitely affects the universal world. And the path of how it affects the universal world is, whatever thoughts you have creates a belief, creates a behavior that creates your environment. Everything that you experience in your own house is created by you. You brought into your house what it is you want, or you allowed, or, something within your belief that had a behavior, that had an acceptance or an agreement, or, whatever is in your universe is something that you have a play in it. And just as you have a play in that level on this global level, your house, your community, your country, your globe, you also affect in the universal, the planets, the stars, all of that. If you look in the galaxies, they are spinning too. It looks like they are spinning pieces of information, and everything is acting like a magnet from us. That whatever it is that we think about, what we focus on, what we pay attention to in our quantum world, creates out into the universal world, but it attracts what it is we need. They're all the minerals, all the planets are the gold, the silver, the oxygen, the air, everything that makes us who we are, all of the molecules, all of the minerals that make us who we are, is out in the bigness. And when we think we need more of something, it'll be attracted to us. When we need more air or more water, then it's going to be attracted to us. We can either be managing what we have, or we're going to want more. And when we want more, maybe a problem, and the problem of getting, like, oh, maybe more water is like a big rock of solid ice hitting the planet, destroying the friggin' planet. So everybody that needs water is kind of dead. But now we're a planet with a lot more water. So I think that this elimination of time is, we are, I mean, what is your DNA doing? What is the spinning pieces of information? And it appears like there's good and evil. There's God and Satan. There's problems, solutions. The problem is like the evilness. The problem is like, if you get cancer, that cancer is the evil. Um, the government right now is the evil. The elites are the evil. The poverty that I deal with is the evil. The smoking addiction is the evil. We all have these evil experiences that are our problems. As it turns out, that we are the solution to every problem that we experience. So what time is, because you all have a wish, want, and desire for something, and usually whatever it is you wish for has some relationship to what it is you hate. You can't tend to attract what it is you love. You seem to attract, like magic, everything that you hate. And the experience of this life experience is to attract what it is you want. That's the evil. The problem that you focus on is just a lack of information, that you're going to have a human experience that gains the information to give your problem whatever it is it wants. Because as soon as a problem gets the information, it tends to disappear. So we have this human experience in time to gain all of the information from these spinning pieces of information, and put like a puzzle together to understand what it is that you're supposed to be doing. What is the solution to your problem? If globally everybody sort of understood the solutions to their problems, I'll continue on another tape.